cooking champagne, and Merry Christmas! Christmas is just 2 short days away, and we are here. We've got our comfy Christmas t-shirt on, we've got some Christmas music playing, and we're about to get started on one of the main events of Christmas, at least for our family, and I think most families in the South, and that is the gumbo. Gumbo is one of those great things that you can put together the weekend before you're ready to serve it, because the longer it sits, the better it gets. So what I have here is all of my components for my stock. I like to make my own stock for gumbo as often as I can, just because it's a great way to get more flavor out of the ingredients that you're already gonna be cooking your gumbo with. You definitely don't have to make your own stock for gumbo, but I like to. Just totally fine to use homemade stock or even just water. But like I said, I had all of these components for it, so I figured might as well just go make it. We got the time, might as well. We're relaxing, we're cooking, we're getting ready for the holiday. This is fun. So, one of the things that I am a stickler about are my little trash baggies, and that's what I like to call them. Anytime I'm chopping fresh produce at home, whether it's onion, garlic, bell pepper, celery, you name it, I like to take the tops, the tails, the skins, all of the remnants that you don't cook with, put them in these little baggies, throw them in the freezer, and then that way, when I'm ready to make my own stock at home, I have all of the components ready to go. Now what we're gonna do is take the tops and the tails off of the bell pepper. Top, tail, that's what I'm talking about. So what I have here is 4 bell peppers, 3 nice sized yellow onions, and a big old bushel of celery. I don't know what you call celery, like when it's all together. What we're gonna do here, and we're not chopping all this up right now, we'll chop it up later when we're ready to put it in the gumbo. But what I'm doing, like I said, is I'm just taking the top and I'm taking the tail. And since this is bell pepper, I'm just gonna cut around the core. And we're just gonna throw all that in. Don't let me catch y'all throwing that away, because that is just great flavor. So now we're gonna cut up the bits and pieces in there. Now we're gonna go in and add our onions. I have 3 about medium-sized yellow onions here. You can add as much onion as you like. Go ahead and cut that top off. And then I'm just gonna cut my onion in half, but I'm gonna leave that end on. And then we're just gonna peel the skin. Peel. Just like so, off the onion. And you're gonna throw skin in there as well, because we're gonna strain this after it boils down. Here is just a whole head of garlic. I just cut it in half, peeling, skins, and all we're gonna throw in there too. Now what we're gonna do to add in that beautiful seafood flavor that we want in this seafood gumbo, we're gonna add in some of the peeling. So what I have here, this is just a couple of the shrimp peelings from the fresh shrimp that we're gonna be putting in here later. These are actually cleaned out crawfish heads. Well, these I kind of been sitting in my freezer for a while, and I knew I needed to use them. And since the only peeling I had for this stock was the shrimp peelings, I knew I was gonna want some more flavor. You could just do shrimp peelings if you wanted to, but since I knew I wasn't gonna have a ton of shrimp peelings, that's why I wanted to kind of substitute. Now, last little bit that I'm gonna add in there is my celery. I'm just gonna take the tops of them, leaves included, because those have great flavor, and the end as well. And we're just gonna add this in also. We're gonna add in some really coarse sea salt. I would say probably like, I don't know, a tablespoon, maybe even 2. Black pepper. These are really coarse black pepper bits. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this all in water. Oh my God, don't spill, Ellie. This is about to be a disaster, but now we're gonna cover this whole pot full of water and pray to God it all fits. Say a prayer. This is how close I am to losing my shit. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so it fit, thank God. All right, so now we're just gonna mix all of this together, and we're gonna bring this up to a very gentle simmer, because I do not want all of this stuff boiling all over the place. And it smells so good already. Together with you. I know.
Oh, I get in the video.
Mm-hmm.
This is behind us.
Right, so we had to do a little vessel change real quick because the pot that I started with was not going to hold the massive amount of ingredients that I apparently have that I wasn't aware of. So we have our roux nice and dark. It's been cooking now for well over an hour, which I rarely ever cook my roux for that long, but you know, it's Christmas, I'm gonna do it the right way. So I have it nice and dark here, and now I'm gonna add in my chopped seasoning. So I have a big old bowl of some celery, 4 bell peppers, 3 large yellow onions, and this is a whole stalk, bushel, whatever we decided it was called, of celery. And I also included the leaves too as well in there. So I'm just gonna dump this into this pot and get it cooking. My pot is pretty full, but we're gonna let this cook down for a while. I went ahead and added in a pound of some fresh frozen okra that was actually defrosted. Okra is something that's really common in gumbo, and you see it more oftentimes in a seafood gumbo, but my family was kind of 50-50 on if they liked their okra in the gumbo or not. So one of my aunts actually told me it was a good idea to put the okra in with the chopped seasoning and let it cook down with the chopped seasoning so that it's not as noticeable. Because the biggest thing that people don't really like with okra is that it can be kind of slimy, but if you cook it down long enough, that like kind of cooks out. So that's why I put it in now. We're gonna let this cook down, and hopefully we won't need to put this in another pot. Because y'all, when I dumped all this in here, I was like, I'm gonna need a bigger boat. So I added in some salt, some pepper, and also some slappy mama. I would say about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of each. I'm going really light with my seasoning as of right now, just because I have some oysters over here. I have a little bit over a dozen oysters, and they're in their juice. And I had Ryan test one of these out, and he said they are very, very, very salty. So this juice is gonna be very salty. Now, this is a big pot of gumbo, so this amount of oysters, I don't know how it's gonna affect the salt of it, so that's why I went a little light with seasoning my onions and bell peppers and all of that with a lot of salt and a lot of slappy mama. So we're gonna let this cook down on like a medium heat, put the lid on it, and just let it cook for a while, let it kind of smother down, and stay tuned to see if we need to end up putting this in a bigger pot. Y'all, this is the second pot already that I've had this in. I can't with myself today. So we let our veggies, the chopped seasoning, and the okra cook down for quite a while. I'd say like 30 minutes till it reduced by about half of what it looked like when we first put it into the pot. And then what I did was I ended up with 6 quarts of stock. So what I did was I added about like 4 cups or a quart at a time to my roux and chopped seasoning, just because I wanted it to all incorporate evenly. I didn't want to dump it all in at once and try and stir and get the roux incorporated into everything. I've been letting this simmer now for about like 30 minutes, and I just tasted it, and I would recommend seasoning it to taste. I'm keeping it really simple with salt, pepper, and slappy mama. I did go ahead and add in the liquid from the oysters about 30 minutes ago before I let it simmer. As it sits, everything's gonna really intensify. All the flavors are gonna meld together really nicely. So I'm gonna hold off on any more seasoning till then, just because I don't wanna overdo it. What I have here is about 4 to 5 pounds of shrimp, and these are about medium-sized shrimp, I would say. I peeled them, we deveined them, rinsed them off just so they were nice and clean. So we're gonna go ahead and add these bad boys in there carefully, because this is a hot pot of bubbling goodness. So we're just gonna very, very slowly, and instantly these shrimp are gonna start to cook. So that's why I like to add them when everything is pretty much done. That's why I like to let my stock and the broth of the gumbo simmer for a while and let the chopped seasoning kind of melt into it a little bit, because I don't want any of my seafood to get too mushy or overcooked or anything like that. That is a surefire way to ruin a gumbo. So we're gonna put these in here and see, I'll fish some up. Look, they're already turning pink. So they're already cooking down nicely, and we may need a bigger pot, but that's okay. So now we're gonna add in our oysters, and we have here a little bit more than like a dozen or so. Not a lot of people in my family really like oysters in their gumbo, so that's why I'm not putting a ton, just enough for the people who do like the oysters, they can enjoy them. And as you can see, those two, they're already cooking as well, because this is hot, hot, hot. So we're just gonna stir that in. And then now we're gonna come in with our crab claws. So these are 3 pounds of crab claw meat, crab fingers, I guess you could call them, already cleaned, ready to go. So we're gonna carefully add these bad boys in as well. Try not to splash myself. Is anybody else stressing out about how full this pot is, or is it just me?
I don't know how you think I'm gonna get that into the fridge.
Oh my God. We got a full pot here, Houston. Full pot, but look at that gumbo, man. Ain't nobody gonna be saying Ellie is stingy with her seafood in her gumbo, because Lord. Would you look at that? All right, now, crab meat.
I don't know if that's gonna fit out. I really think we might have to switch over.
Let's see. Let's just watch. I'm glad Ryan's not here, because he would kill me.
He would.
He is gonna kill me.
He is.
And this is about 3 pounds of lump crab meat that you want to make sure you pick through. All right, y'all, we're gonna need a bigger boot. Damn it. Nothing to see here, folks. This will be our little secret. Nobody has to know that this is now my 3rd pot that I've gone through for the day. Oh my, where's the wine? And we're back with a much bigger pot. So now we're gonna add in the rest of our lump crab meat. Like I said, this was 3 pounds of lump crab meat that we picked through, make sure we got all the shells out. And we're gonna add this in. And I just have this on a low simmer, because everything, for the most part, besides the shrimp and the oysters, is cooked. So I'm gonna mix all this in. Oh my God, look at that. Ooh, Lord. All right, so this is perfect just as it is. I'm gonna let it simmer for just a few minutes. At this point, it's done. Let it simmer, season it to taste, or let it cool, and let it sit in the fridge until you're ready to eat it. The longer it sits, the better it's gonna get. So I'm really looking forward to having this on Christmas Eve. I think we're gonna sneak a taste now. Ain't nobody gonna miss it. Oh my God. Merry Christmas. Hallelujah. That is delicious. Oh my God. Y'all, that's perfect. This is gonna be so good. Everyone's gonna be so excited to eat this on Christmas Eve. Oh my God. It's so good. I hope y'all make it. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all have a very Merry Christmas. Bye, y'all.